I remember when we got started, one of our two investors, his name was Raul, and I've written about him before. And Raul was one tough, crusty son of a bitch, quite frankly. And I remember him looking at me after we closed the funding, and we were in the middle of the negotiations. Actually, it was before we closed the funding. We'd already done the term sheet. We're in the middle of closing the funding, and there's a little bit of a negotiation, a little bit of a back and forth that goes on various topics. And one of the topics was how much accelerated vesting were the founders going to get. And he looked at me and said, well, I think I'll give you 6 months. And I said, okay. Even though we had been at it for 2 years. So in theory, with a typical 4-year vesting, we should have gotten 2 years of vesting. But I didn't fight him. And I don't recommend you fight your investors either. And here's why. Put yourself in the investor's shoes. If you're an investor and you've just invested in a company, and now it doesn't matter whether that company's been around for 2 years or 5 years or whatever, you want them to be tied to the company for the long haul. So yes, you can argue for Series B funding or whatever, maybe the rules are different, but if it's an initial funding for the company and you've been around for a year, year and a half, something like that, expect your investors to reset your vesting schedule to align with them. And it makes complete sense, because if they don't have you locked in, and let's say you've got 2 years of vesting like we had, and now we have 2 more years to come, well, what happens at the end of the 2 years? In theory, I could walk away, and then the investors have lost everything. So they're right, whether you like it or not, in asking to reset your vesting. So there's some play, just like we had. Maybe we got our 6 months or whatever, and that's fine. But understand it from their shoes, because they've put a lot of money in your company. They've put a lot of faith in you. So they ought to be rewarded for it. And it makes complete sense when they reset the vesting schedule on your business. Remember that. I'm Brett at BrettJFox.com. Have a great, great day. Thank you.